What if I go 19 back? So the local distance would be 19 minus 12, or 9 minus 2, 9, 8, 7. So that would be 7 back. If I go counterclockwise 7, going clockwise would be 12 minus 7, or 5 forward, which I would have to just know is a perfect fourth. Therefore, a perfect fourth could be 5 forward or negative 7 backwards. Or it could be negative 7 minus another octave, or negative 7 minus 12 perfect fourth, or a negative 19 perfect fourth. So let's say we start from let's go like this Aeolian. Let's do one on this side because I'm going to go further that way. And a perfect fourth is going to be 5 note away going this way. So it'd be 5 note away to here. It would be an AD modal range, in this case from the Aeolian mode. And then I could go negative 7, which would be 5, 6, 7. So it's still an AD modal range, but now I'm going in the negative direction from the perspective of this A. Again, I could measure from the D to the A, right? That would be a 7 note away forward, which would be a perfect fifth, but I'm going negative 7, right? A negative 7, which would be a perfect fourth from the perspective of this A, not the perspective of that D. But I could also go 19 back, which would be 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I can't go 19 back from there. Let's go 19 back. Let's pick one like here. 19 back. This time, well, now I picked one under the fault line. I'd rather this fault line shifted up, so I'd have to go 5 back here, 5, 10, 15, 20, and then we're going back to 19. Okay, hopefully I got that right. But yeah, it's an AD modal range. That makes sense. So notice that all of these are I can call all of them a perfect fourth, and you might want to memorize them on the guitar so you can see the Aeolian to the Dorian is always what you can call a perfect fourth. But you want to get more sophisticated from that and be able to identify what that means, and identify that these are all going to give you different sounds, because it's not just a racetrack. We also have to add the dimension of time in our map analogy, right? We have directionality, forwards, backwards to get to each of the continents. To get from an A to a D, I go forwards and backwards, but I also have the time dimension that you have to, because it's different at any time. I don't know what I'm doing with the time dimension. I gotta work that one out. I'm working on it. It makes sense. I just haven't got the analogy perfect yet. Let me mull it over. What if I go back 20? If I go back 20, what's the local distance? 20 minus 12 would be like 10 minus 2, which would be 8. So 20 back would be 8 forward. So, I'm sorry, 20, it would be 8 back local distance. If I go 8 counterclockwise, 12 minus 8 would be 4 clockwise, which I just have to know is a major third. Therefore, a major third can be 4 forward or an 8 note back major third. And this time I'm going another octave back, so it would be 8 minus another 12, or 8 minus an octave, or negative 20 major third. So it's a negative 20 major third. Let's say, let's start from like a Lydian over here this time and see if I have enough room to go backwards. So it's a major third. So if I go forward and it was a major third, it would be 4 forward. So this would be 5 going this way because we're crossing the fault line, and then it would be 5 going this way and then back to 4. So that would be a YA modal range, or a 4-6 modal range. If I go backwards, I can go backwards 8. So in this one, I have a 5 note distance here because there's no fault line between those two. So 5, 6, 7, 8 in the negative direction gives me a YA modal range, which I can call a major third, but this is a negative 8 major third. Negative 20 would be like 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So now this one, if I go back, these are all what we can call major third distances, but I want to be able to distinguish them. And remember that if you don't use the letters, like if I call this an FA, then I could try to remember that that's, if I go from the F to the A, then that's always going to be a major third. You can try to remember that, but that's going to be a lot more difficult because then you have to remember all of the relationships of 12 different notes. It'd be a lot easier to say, hey, look, whenever I do a YA modal range or a 4-6 modal range, then that is always a major third, right? That's going to be easier to memorize because usually you're working on the continent notes going from continent to continent. So you don't want to memorize. So if you memorize all the notes, then again you could do that. That's a lot less efficient of a way to do it, right? You want to say, oh, anytime I go to YA modal range, I'd like to start to just know that that's going to be a major third. But the major thirds are different, right? This one's a 4-note away major third. This is a negative 8-note away major third. This is a negative 20-note away major third. Okay, so then we're going to say, let's go back another one and say we're going to go back 21. So what's the local distance? If I go back 21, then we're not to 24 yet, so we haven't gone 2 octaves up. So it's still within 1 octave higher. So we're going to say 21 minus 12 would be like 21 minus 12 would be like 10 minus 2, 10, 9, 8. No, it'd be like 11. 11 minus 2. 11, 10, 9. So it would be 9 backwards. If I go 9 counterclockwise, that would be like 12 minus 9 or 3 clockwise. And I have to know that 3 notes away clockwise is a minor third. Therefore, a minor third could be going 3 forward or 9 backwards. By the way, once we get good at this, I no longer have to do the inverse. I no longer have to say, well, if I go 9 back, it's 3 forward. Once I memorize that the minor third could be going 3 forward or 9 back. Like I want to know it so well that I know that a minor third doesn't just mean 3 forward in the local distance. It means 3 forward or 9 back. Therefore, if I'm going past an octave, all I have to do is get it down to the 9, which I will then recognize if I go 9 back is a minor third. But for most people, we don't really recognize that. We only know the minor third as 3 forward. Therefore, we have to find the inverse and then go in the other direction. So I could say a negative 9 minor third, or a negative 9 minus an octave minor third, or a negative 9 minus 12 minor third, or a negative 21 minor third. So let's say we're going from a minor mode over here. We're going to have to go way down. Let's go to the Aeolian down here, which is under the fault line. It's on the tectonic plate after the fault line. I use fault line here because of plate tectonics, and I'm in California, so I guess that's So anyways, we could go forward a minor third, which would be 3 notes away. So this would be 5, 4, 3. So this would be an AI modal range, which is a minor third, 3 notes forward. Or I can go, now notice this one looks like it's behind it, but really it's going forward because there's 5 notes between here. So pitch-wise, it's still going up. 5, 4, 3. Now I want to go pitch-wise down. This tectonic plate shifted to the right. Therefore, I can't go straight up to have 5. I have to go left. So this is going to be 5 this way. So this is going to be 5. And then I can say negative 10. And then this is going to be 9. So I can say then this is an AI modal range, which is going to be a minor third. But now I want to go negative 21, right? So this was negative 9. So let's do that again. If this tectonic plate shifted this way, it would be 5, 10, 15, 20, and then 21. So now I've got all of these are AI modal ranges, which would be great if I could just learn that every time I go from the Aeolian node to the Ionian node, or from the 6 node to the 1 node from a natural number system, it's going to be a minor third. But I'd also like to know that this is a 3 note away minor third, this is a negative 9 note away minor third, and this is a negative 21 note away, or a negative 9 minus an octave minor third. So that gives me directionality. And so, again, I think that's just objective. From what I can see, that is the best way to try to map all this stuff out.